Hey guys, back again this week, taking a look at a fine molds reboxing of Tamiya's M4 Sherman with 75mm kit in girls and Panzer marking. So let's open her on up. Now, a lot of the kit parts are similar to the other M4 kit I reviewed previously, and the Sherman was built to be very modifiable with a whole slew of variants I'm not even going to try to get into here. So a lot of these kit parts are going to be the same. Here we have the upper hull. Again, it's much the same as the one I did previously. Not a whole lot to add other than good casting, good detail, and again, much the same on the lower hull. Track details are great. By the look of this particular example, seems like it's from a little bit fresher mold, as the details are a lot sharper. So that's definitely a big plus in its corner. Not a lot to add there. Moving on, first sprue, we got some of the exhaust and detail parts, as well as building up some of the suspension parts, and two crew figures, and some of the hatches and other odds and end parts. Now, obviously, in this particular kit, these figures aren't going to be all too useful, but they're good to add to your spare bin. Next up, we have our suspension, which is very nicely detailed, molded in a couple different parts, as well as all of our road wheels and sprockets. Again, a lot of the detail is similar to the other Sherman I reviewed, so not a whole lot I can say there. Now, next up, we have our turret and gun. Now, this is where the kits diverge some, as obviously different versions. So, the turret's cast very nicely. There's even a lot of little casting detail, which is very nice and true to subject. Have gun parts for the gun. Obviously, depending on if you're doing this open or not, will dictate whether you really need to use those or not. But overall, nicely done. You're also given a radio panel, even though, again, obviously, if you're doing it closed, that's not really going to be seen. Continuing on, we have two additional sprues of details and wheels. Obviously, getting into the different versions, this will help you obviously build up to differentiate between the two. Excuse me. On our last sprue, we have all of our fender details and another figure. Overall, there's not a whole lot to say here. This kit is, for the most part, a shake and bake kit, and that you basically shake it up and you got yourself a model. Again, obviously, I'm not going into a whole lot of detail here, since the bulk of the kit is very much the same as the earlier Sherman I reviewed, so there's not a whole lot left to add, really. If you built one Tamiya Sherman, you built them all. Now, moving on to decals, much like the Churchill tank reviewed previously, get some character decals and a single marking option for the tank, all in good detail and good register. Moving on to instructions, a little blurb on US tanks, I'm assuming. Going on into the construction, again, it does have a lot of little details you are going to need to make sure you do put in correctly, but again, if you follow the instructions, it should be, for the most part, problem-free in construction. Again, if you built one Tamiya Sherman, you built them all. So again, there's not a whole lot else to say as far as the construction goes, other than just take your time and just follow the instructions. One exception being here for the gun parts, as obviously if you're building it with everything closed up, you're not really going to need it. And like I also said, a single marking option for the tank. Now, overall, it's a good kit. Definitely, if you're in the U.S. tanks, this would be one to consider picking up, either just as a one-off sort of unique kit, or just picking it up for the added parts, and so doing just so using it for the parts and going aftermarket for the markings or grading spares. So yeah, that was a look at fine molds boxing of Tamiya's M4 Sherman 75mm gun in 1/35 scale. Until next time.